Okay, Jeremy here, partsbreakers.com, Jeeps Unlimited locally. This video is going to go over hardtops. I have made a hardtop. If you look at the YouTube channel we have, you're going to see a lot of videos on there. Most of them are product videos, but we do like to do some explanation videos, how-tos every once in a while when we feel like we can add to the world and not just put out a ton more crap that's already out there. So if you're looking for like what to look for in a hardtop, definitely check out that other video because it kind of goes over what the expense is on these things and go from there. So without further ado, I have two YJ tops at the moment. The doors you're looking at on this Jeep have sold. Doors go very quickly. We have one set at the moment, but we do have a possible pending buyer on a top and the doors we have. You'll see those in here in a second. It doesn't mean don't call because it doesn't always go through. But doors and tops, tubs, frames, especially on these old Jeeps, are going very quickly and whatnot. So if there's something else you see on this video that you're interested in, obviously this Jeep is fairly complete at the moment. This is a great time to give us a call. You can email, you can Facebook. The quickest way is absolutely the phone, 303-666-9020, okay? So I'm just gonna go over it, and again, if there's something that I didn't kind of clarify in the last video on what to look for, then I will readdress it. And one of the things, and this one is beautiful, but sometimes you'll get chips up here just from road rocks coming up. These are so flat faced. They do it on the windshield frame, they do it on the nose as well, but they'll also do it up here. And you can, there's a couple real small ones, but these ones will get painted when paint's done on them. There's a couple scratches in them, but nothing structural wise, and that's an important thing when it comes to a hardtop, in my opinion. It is fiberglass, so obviously it can be redone to an extent, although I did had one done on my personal Jeep and you could always kind of tell where it was. So in a sense, this is nice to have. Nothing like that. Of course my phone's gonna ring right now. Let's see here. 202666. Okay, let's see if Kira will get that. So I'll have to make this quicker than I was hoping. Anyway, edges, same thing. They chip often, and primarily is when they're stored usually concrete. People don't think to put them up on wood, and so you'll get little chips out of them. This one is really clean once again. So something to look for. Again, it's not a huge deal, but does make them a little bit nicer when you go to restore them. You can always use a little filler on them and fill that in, but it is the edge, so probably if it gets repaired, you'll likely get damaged again. The other thing are vents. These are in clean shape. These are oftentimes broken and they're not super easy to find. I mean, there are replacements out there for them, but not new. Most things on this top, a factory top, is part of the reason I like factory tops versus aftermarket, is that everything on this, for the most part, is something you can find. Whether it be you have to find it used or new, you can at least get parts. Whereas the aftermarket stuff out there, there's usually no support on them, and that may have changed. It may change in the future, but we've sold them in the past and stopped selling them for that reason. They're noisy. They're nice looking, and they've come a long way with them. I'll give them that, but they typically don't seal. They're just not made in the OEM aspect, even though they are, kind of an OEM top. They have gotten better though. I won't discount that. They used to be a lot worse. So, but we still don't sell them. They're paying the ass to return. So, gaskets around the windshield. You see this one's got a little missing here. Not a big deal. You can get outer seals. One thing to note about YJs is the glass is in there with those gaskets. So those are actually in really clean shape. But if you ever pull up on one and it's missing that one or cracked and stuff, be careful with them, especially if you're pulling them on and off, because they will pop out. And you can luckily get glass. Side glass isn't all that expensive. You can actually get rear glass as well, but this is a very expensive part. So if you're missing one of these, and again, I addressed this in that other video, but if you're missing that piece, expect to pay by the time you get the whole assembly about $500, maybe a little less than that, but there's a trim piece in them, and there's a lot more than just that glass that reassembles that unit. Clearly, this is the wiper with the defrost. I actually thought both of these were wiperless, but both of these have the wiper with the defrost. So if your Jeep came with a hardtop, it will be wired for it. If it did not, it will not have a wire, and you'll have to wire it if you want to use that stuff. I usually recommend not using it, even if you have it. because it's a little bit, I mean, it's not impossible, but to do it factory, you got to replace the rear harness, which is included the tail light harness. It's all one. And then you need to replace sometimes the dash harness, depending on what options the Jeep came with. It's sometimes provision for it, other times it's not. So it can be a little bit involved job. I'd say a day and a half to do harnesses like that. And then you can factory run everything. And it's not that difficult, but it is something that if you're just looking for a quick fix for them, and I highly recommend not to hard wiring them in. It's an easy way to light a Jeep on fire unless you have somebody knows electrical real well and can put the relays and stuff in them. So, okay, so that's that outside of that top. And of course, my phone is ringing again. This is gonna be, that's a good thing. I'm not complaining, but it's hard to do when I'm doing videos. So, let's see what else on this guy. Inside, okay, that's, now front here, I don't think I addressed this in another video. These are screws here. Normally I suggest like a hex self-tap. This is factory. This is how they come. And if you don't have a hard top now, you probably had a soft top, so you may already have holes, or you have them on the other side. So you will, if you don't have holes here, you will be putting holes in here. Most people use a very small self-tapper. The bigger you use, the bigger hole you're gonna have in this. So keep that in mind. It's just to kind of seal everything down. It does give it some structure, but it is by far, the structure comes from the back bolts here, which are these guys, and you can see there's 4 there. That would hold the top down. This just kind of helps seal it up and get it clamped down nice and tight. So if these are missing, not a huge deal, but it is a little bit hard to replace. It is molded into that fiberglass. So if that's missing or somebody's modified this, keep that in mind. It's not just a simple fix to fix those. Got the back light. This is a really clean hardtop, one of our nicer ones we have, and probably one of the nicer ones we've had in a long time. So starting to see a little crack on that inner trim piece. That piece is replaceable, and all honesty, that one's in excellent shape. Normally there's chunks taken out of them. They get old and brittle. There's a little crack over there too by the screw. You probably can't see it, but that trim piece is like 40-50 bucks if you want to. I would recommend just leaving this one alone, because it will eventually crack a section off, and maybe have one at hand just in case they don't stop making them or something. But I wouldn't replace that one. It's in decent shape. So okay, that's that top. And then we have this other one, was white one here. Now this white one needs a bath. It's white, so it shows everything. The other thing to note on this one versus like this guy is the paint's worn down on it to where the fiberglass fibers are showing. If you're gonna be painting this top, it's smooth, okay? It doesn't need, I mean, you'd obviously rough it up anyway to paint it or smooth it down depending, but this is a smooth surface. So yes, it's thinning here. So it needs paint, and that's just poor maintenance and probably not a lot of washes and whatnot. So, but the vents are in good shape. The glass is intact. The seal is, this one's a good example of it starting to be pulled here. You can reheat these. They're cheap. I can get you a piece for this. It's not a big deal. You can order those, or you can order them online. They're fairly inexpensive. Same thing up through here, just getting that wear, but still nice and smooth, no chips taken out. This one's got maybe a little bit down, but not much. And it's hard to say why this one did this more than the other ones. But this is still, I mean, at least at this side, this video is kind of allowing me to go over it real nice and close. Hopefully my video's not following something else. I tend to talk and not kind of watch what I'm doing the videos. It makes me kind of nauseous to do that. So anyway, that corner's good. The back is good. This is all smooth. A paint job is going to go a long way on this one. You'd be very surprised at how clean this one will come out. This is a rear tinted window. That's a clear window. This one, this one, I don't believe this is a heated one. So this is a non-heated with wiper. That's a heated with wiper, clear and tinted, of course. I thought for some reason these early ones usually didn't have, but somebody may have done that over the years. You can replace glass with, if somebody had a non-heated one, which these very well likely were non-heated, non-wiper, they could have upgraded and bought glass that had that stuff and then swapped everything over. And you could do the same thing going back. if you wanted to kind of remove that stuff. But glass isn't super cheap, so I probably wouldn't mess with that. Just leave it alone. Okay, same thing up here. Those definitely would want to get some paint or some, you know, some primer and then paint on this. Starting to thin out. But this is all smooth. There's nothing missing yet. I think if this were to continue to be used like this and driven down the highway with wind and, you know, weather and yada, 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 this will eventually start kind of, you know, what fiber does when it kind of gets, okay, there's a little bit there. But again, that's nothing more than a little bit of paint will cover up. And even this one's real clean on the front. It's definitely not like pretty like that one, but for somebody painting one, I would not discount this top at all, because there's nothing, at least right now, that I see that's, you know, structural at all. No cracks, nothing like that. Just a little bit on the surface and whatnot. So, and then these are the doors that are still left at the moment, but these doors are, especially rust-free doors like those, won't last. So, okay, the inside. Everything looks good here. Yeah, I see even that. I thought that might be a crack. It's a little spider web, so nothing's cracked on this one. Front trim piece, same thing. Missing the screws, but other than that, that's good, nice and tight. Nothing broken there, like it should be. And then the back corners, I always look at these because if they've been stored wrong, they'll start separating. These are really clean, no cracks. You get the light in this one as well. And then same thing, you're starting to see, and actually that piece is really nice too. So there's really no reason to discount this top. We just did it because it's not as pretty looking. And it's not discounted much, but it's a little bit. I take the savings on it because it's still really clean, but you have the same crack, and then there's maybe a couple more little ones in this trim piece. But again, it's all complete. I wouldn't mess with that right now. You can have one on standby if you want, or if you're never gonna really use a Jeep, it's kind of a show Jeep, then yeah, you can go in and definitely, you know, put another one of those on. We can order those for you. So, all right, I think that's it. Nothing else I see on these things that's alarming, which is what I want. An uneventful, boring, as I like to call it, video. The exciting videos are usually when I'm showing something wrong with something. So, questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I do have one CJ7 top available. I'll give you a quick overview of this one. It's upside down at the moment, and we do that because the wind gets real bad out here, and it's kind of a mismatch of another part, but I am gonna have to run. So if you have any questions, it's the one upside down there, and the back hatch is coming out of this one. Thank you very much. 303-666-9020.